This is our third video for section 4.4 with problem number 22 on section 4.4. Of course, every time we do a problem, the first thing you want to do is start out by drawing the picture. Here's what is in your book that you're going to want to copy down. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just copy it the way it is in the book, drawing it together like this. I'm going to change to a finer pen here. So this is Q, R, S, and T, and we have diagonals cutting through like that, and in the middle there they have P. They also have marked in the corners angle QR, and I'm going to switch to a different color here so that I can see it compared to my right. QR is marked, angle Q here is marked, and angle R is marked over here in the corner. Now that I have my picture copy, I'm going to look at my givens that they give me over here, and I'm going to put those down in my proof. Now, be careful, since I've already filled out this form. Notice I put an A here, so I'm talking about an angle. Well, the second one here talks about the angle, so I'm going to put that first. So write given up top, and then I have angle TQR is congruent to angle SRQ. Those are the angles that are already marked in my proof there in this original picture. They also give me that triangle TPQ is congruent to triangle SPR. With that there, I know that I'm looking at these two triangles here. Kind of that one on the side there, and this one on the side over here. That's probably going to come in useful a little bit, but before we get to that, let's look at a couple other things. I want to look at where I'm going to end up in my proof, which is my proof statement, which is down here, triangle TQR, and that goes at the bottom of my proof. TQR is congruent to triangle SQR. Now, if I'm going to prove these two triangles congruent, it's probably important that I be able to see those. And in this picture, there's multiple different triangles that I can see. There's 4 little triangles. Then there's multiple bigger triangles around here. So I want to look at triangle TQR. Well, TQR is this one right here. So I'm going to redraw triangle TQR. TQR. And I have that angle Q in the corner there marked. And I also have SQR that I want to work with. So here's SQR, looking something like this. This is S, this is Q, and that's R. And they have this whole angle in that corner marked there. Now, if I'm trying to prove those triangles congruent, I'm going to use one of my 5 shortcuts: side, 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 angle, 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 side, or HL, which we haven't got to yet. But I'm going to use one of those 5. Well, I already have angles marked here. Okay, that comes from this part of my proof right here. That's already in my proof. Those 2 angles matching up as I go through there. As I look at this, okay, I'm probably going to have some sides or some angles match up, because always, pretty much, I can't think of a time when it doesn't. Anytime you have 2 triangles being congruent, underneath that, if there's another step, the reason's going to be corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. CPCT. But what we have to mark here, we're not really completely sure yet. Let's do a little bit more work and then come back to this. Looking over here, here's a separate thought. It doesn't come from the angles here. It's completely separate. I need to mark something else, and I have a little hint here that I have an S. So I'm going to mark some kind of side, right? Some kind of side, and then my reason is up above there. Well, when we've done this in the past a lot of times it's reflexive property, where it's a side that's shared down the middle. Now, we don't have anything that's just completely shared down the middle, but if I look at my pictures here, if I put these back together, notice how I have a side QR here and a side QR over here. They were actually the same side back up here in the original picture. So those can actually be marked, and we can write in our proof here, QR is congruent to QR, and that property, when it's the same on both sides, is always the reflexive property. All right, so I now have, if I just look at one triangle, a side and an angle marked. So I'm probably either want to try for side, angle, or angle, angle, side. I think side, angle, side is going to be the easiest, which would mean that I would want TQ here to be marked and RS to be marked over here. Well, going back to my statement over here with the triangles being congruent. Well, TQ, here's T and here's Q. And R and S, here's R. T and Q are in the first and the last. S and R are in the first and the last. So they're matching up. That's what this CPCT means. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. It basically means they match up when you're looking at the order of the letters. So I can put here that TQ is congruent to SR. And mark that in my picture here with double marks because I've already used single. Now these are the two triangles that we want to prove congruent. I now have side, angle, side because the angle is where the two sides meet. So that goes in for my reason down here. And I already have it written for my proof statement, the two triangles that are congruent, completing my proof for number 22.